Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's an electric mullet. Hello, kids, and welcome back to another week of Electric Mullet, the Superman podcast.
The Superman podcast.
I am Phil. Tyler cannot join us today, but making another appearance, it is our good
I'm back.
owl buddy.
Swooping back into Metropolis.
The owl from, what's Maxima's world?
The owl from Almerac.
Yes.
Almerac.
I was like, no, it's not Melmac. No, it's Almerac.
That's right. Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't join you guys for Maxima's first appearance like I had wanted to. But this is kind of what I'd call her first real appearance. That was just kind of like the prologue.
Yeah, because she was acting through like a simulacrum or something. Yes,
right.
No, yes.
This is the real deal here, as we'll see tonight.
Heck yeah. All right, so should we jump into these?
Yes, we have quite a feast of issues tonight, Phil.
Oh, yeah, 4 issues, because we're doing 2 issues of action, but I guess it'd help if I would open the covers. All right. Can't share them unless they're open. All right, so those of you on the YouTube, here we go. First issue, Action Comics 651. Yeah, look at that cover.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, action.
Some of that George Perez magic right there.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. All right, so Action Comics 651 from March 1990. Not of this Earth. And I don't think we're talking Maxima, kids. All right. Writer Roger Stern, pencilers George Perez and Kerry Gamble, inker Brett Breeding, colors Glenn Whitmore, letterer Bill Oakley, and editors Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. The employees of Newstime magazine notice how Clark Kent has been changing since he first took the job as managing editor, going from a friendly newcomer to a cold and distant boss. Meanwhile, Maxima prepares for her arrival on Earth to confront Superman again. She teleports to the facility where her former servant, Sazu, is being held. Sazu asks for mercy, but Maxima teleports her back to the spaceship, awaiting her punishment. Clark sees the eruption of light generated by Maxima's capsule, so he takes off out of his office and goes flying to the scene as Superman. He chases her across the skies of Metropolis, and she lures him underwater where she speaks telepathically to him. Yeah, she's speaking something. She reveals her imperial bloodline is the result of generations of selective breeding. Looking for a worthy match as her mate, she found out about Superman's fight against Draaga in World and was most impressed by his prowess.
She was impressed, all right.
The feeling that increased after finding out their genetic code is perfectly compatible. Wow, what a turn on. Maxima offers him to become her mate and be part of her empire. Superman is intrigued by the possibility of continuing the Kryptonian bloodline, but declines, saying he has no desire to father despots, that the Kryptonian line should not be grafted into a race of hot-blooded barbarians.
Oh, my.
Angry, Maxima attacks Superman, sending him flying out of the water. The fight continues inside Star Labs. Making him think she was dead, Maxima shows him telepathic images of the Empire they could roll together. So yes, once again in barbarian gear, in the head of Maxima and Justin, yeah.
Oh, yes. Rent-free, it lives there.
But Superman doesn't want to become a warlord, and his Kryptonian mind overrides Maxima's illusion. Maxima realizes he is not worthy, claiming that he has become passionless, that the fire he once had within has been eradicated. You know what? They made the word eradicated bold.
I see what you did there.
Kid, eradicated.
Yeah. All right.
Eradicated. Come on.
Eradicated. Yeah, that's it, man.
Maxima strikes him with her telepathic powers, but as Superman gets closer, his clothes change temporarily to a Kryptonian garment. Superman subdues her, saying that her visions only made him see more clearly that he is a true son of Krypton. Maxima is taking the authorities, but the federal department that lets her go off Earth to avoid further alien invasions.
I like that. They just let her go at the end. Like,
right.
Yeah, you're free to go. Just don't come back and cause any more trouble, all right?
Don't come back. Yeah. They don't want to anger her. I mean, she's punching Superman like,
right.
Blocks through the city. Yeah. Don't come back.
Just please don't come back. Yeah.
All right. Maxima fan and fan of Half Naked Superman. What do you think of this?
For obvious reasons, I loved this issue the first time I read it.
Mm-hmm.
When it first came out. The first time, when we first saw Maxima the first time, I was kind of intrigued. I thought she was interesting. She was kind of cool, but she was still an enigma. She didn't say anything for that whole issue. So I thought, okay, this is a mystery that they're going to delve into later. Mm-hmm. But then when this issue came out, I was like, oh man, I love this, because I'm a sucker for a good, role reversal thing. And that's completely what happened here. Because how many times have we seen some male character come down to somebody like Wonder Woman and Supergirl and try the same stuff, being like, oh, you'd be the perfect mate. You'd be the perfect queen to help me rule my kingdom and blah, 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 and all this, this bullshit. So we finally have a female character who's doing this. She's the ruler of her empire. It's a matriarchal society. So it's a completely different situation, but it's the same theme. And I love that. I thought that was great. And she found that there's this last Kryptonian that just happens to be a perfect DNA mate for her.
Oh, yeah.
There's no romance that goes into the procreation of the perpetuation of their empire. It's just genetic stock, who happens to be the most genetically pure and all this stuff. And I mean, in that respect, she's like space Nazi. She's like, oh yes, we'll make pure blood, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and these are literal warlords. Almrak goes around and colonizes planets and conquers free civilizations and probably have their own slave market and who knows what else. So they're not the most altruistic and well-intentioned of empires that ever existed. That's for sure. And so you can understand Clark's apprehension, but the fact that he happens to be under this influence at the same time adds a whole other dimension to it. And reading this again, I often wondered if this influence hadn't been taken over Clark, I wonder how the result of this, the resolution of this conflict, would have been different.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. I'm like, man, Maxim was way too late. If she hadn't offered this to John Byrne Superman, I mean, he might have hopped on it. Remember he was having dreams. He was having wet dreams about Wonder Woman and stuff.
Wonder Woman and the whole Amazing Grace thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember John Byrne Superman? He couldn't stop thinking about Wonder Woman. So yeah,
he had all those dreams about her. Yeah, totally. Yeah, if she was just a year or two sooner,
Byrne Superman might have been like, yeah, we can try it.
Well, there was also that fantastic annual. I think it was an Elseworlds annual, which you and Lilith covered that one at one point.
Oh, yeah.
If Clark and Maxima had actually gotten together.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to do that here again. That was one of the Armageddon 2001.
That's what it was, Armageddon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that one for obvious reasons, but I thought it was a great spotlight on what if that actually did happen. How would that have played out?
Oh yeah, when we get there, we're gonna have you back.
Definitely.
Noel's like, Justin Superman? Yeah, he shows up every so often. Come on.
That's right. Especially when it's Maxima.
Yeah, one of his favorite characters. Yeah,
that's right.
Maxima is hilarious. He says she wants to slam that super her and Justin.
Yeah, I love it. That panel where she's watching him when he's in the gladiator outfit fighting Draaga on the asteroid.
Oh
there.
yeah,
she's sitting there sprawled out in her lounging chair, just sitting there watching that fight. She's like, "Oh yeah, I know what I like, and I like that." She says, "Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love this. Maxima's my girl. I love her. I mean, she's not." And she's not the best person when we start out, when we first meet her. I mean, as we've already established, she's the ruler of this nasty empire. But as her character gets delved into deeper, we see new dimensions of her. And
Noel's just on his game tonight. She's just knocking that taco watching Clark.
Oh my God.
Wow. What are you saying, Noel? She's trying to make a run for the border? But I know, like, it wasn't just the Draaga defeat that got turned her on. It was like, oh yeah, you knocked Mongol out of power.
Yeah, exactly. He stood up to Mongol,
and that probably helped her empire too. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she loved that, him standing up to Mongol. Totally.
And I love the one panel where she's telling them all about the history of her people and stuff, and then she's like, the recent, I guess the recent choices for mates weren't basically just like a bunch of bug-eyed aliens and stuff.
Yeah, true. They're a bunch of gigantic creatures that were nowhere near her same humanoid status, I guess you could say.
They're not as strong as him. They're not as willful, and he doesn't have all those tentacles.
They don't have the same prowess. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's just, did you see the power? And, because he comes flying out of the.
I know. I love that.
Bay and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. She hurls him around like a rag doll. And plus besides being super strong, she's got these psionic powers. She has control over metal and telekinesis. She's got telekinesis and super flight. She has this massive arsenal of powers, which I thought was cool too. Because a lot of times you see these rulers of intergalactic empires, and they're just, maybe a dude in a suit or whatever with a sword.
Yeah.
And they have this huge army, and they usually have big, gigantic enforcers to do their heavy lifting for them. They're usually just some chode in a robe or something. But in this case, you see someone who actually has, this woman has enough power to lay waste to anybody in her empire that even remotely tries to stand up to her.
Oh yeah. I was wondering if this just her psionic blast and stuff, just some of that kind of knocked the Eradicator loose a little early too, maybe.
Stirred up some stuff that shouldn't have been stirred up. Maybe, yeah.
Which is so funny. She shows up at this moment, but I'm like, if he had been regular, he hadn't been under the Eradicator's influence. I mean, imagine if he could turn her down, maybe he would have started getting angry. And can you imagine, those two duking it out when they're both angry?
Man. Oh, yeah. They would have leveled half of Metropolis easily.
But instead, she gets logical Superman in there. So
yeah, the cold, calculating mind of the Krypton man.
And I'm like at the beginning as Clark, when he's going over all these alien, these superheroes who are aliens and stuff, and he's like, a lot of the world doesn't even realize Superman's an alien. I'm like, really?
Yeah, didn't they talk about that during the invasion stuff?
That's what I thought, and I'm just like, when he first appeared, didn't Lois Lane write this big, or Clark, or one of them write up this big story about how Superman's from the planet Krypton?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the first one, but I swear, I don't know, maybe
eventually that came out. I thought,
yeah, I'm like, if the world's number one superhero, and there's a story about him being from another planet, don't you think that that would catch the news around the entire world?
Yeah, that's slightly noteworthy. Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't change anything if he's from
no.
another planet, being the guardian of this planet. It shouldn't change a whit of a thing. But
I
it is an
mean,
important detail to know.
or, maybe you might have like your whatever version of Fox News is like, what is he trying to pull?
Oh, yeah.
How to make us think he's human?
Yeah. He's a refugee. Go back to where you came from.
Krypton took our jobs.
These galactic border jumpers.
And I do like when he's fighting Maxima, he does mention, make a mention of, she's almost as, she's strong like Matrix was, and
Mm-hmm.
called all the way back to Superman 21.
Yeah, nice, good stuff. Yeah.
All right, should we get to the next one?
Yes, we've got another battle coming up here.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
a rematch,
and the Eradicator's really going to start.
Oh yeah,
I like that cover too.
Yeah, this is so good. Yeah, the art in this one is glorious.
Mm-hmm. I love the running joke through this whole thing. It's just like, that guy stole Superman's costume.
He's got this dark, tattered, stitched up old Superman shirt.
I know, that thing's been through how many light years and stuff.
And he's worn it without washing it for how long?
Exactly.
That thing must stink.
I know. How long was Superman out in space? And
exactly.
He was in the stomach of a giant creature. Remember? Remember that thing's got like stomach acid and stuff.
You could probably smell that thing for miles around.
I think probably could have battled Superman even without Draaga.
Exactly. It's got a stink cloud aura for added effect.
Kryptonian pit stains. Jeez. All right, Superman Volume 2, number 42 from April 1990. Krypton Man. What?
Oh.
Writer and penciler Jerry Ordway, inker Dennis Jank, colors Glenn Whitmore, letterer John Costanza. Editor Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. Draaga arrives on Earth, finally, demanding to fight Superman. I mean, think of
he took the long way around. That
whole trip in that stupid little space Winnebago. Which now that I think about it, is that like a call out to Spaceballs or something?
I think it must be, yeah.
By the time it's to get here, Lobo showed up and fought Superman and left. Maxima
showed up and left.
I don't know. Arrested, got sent away. Yeah. Lots happened.
Oh, it's so funny.
So Draaga arrives on Earth demanding to fight Superman. Clark runs out of his office, angering Colin Thornton, and takes off his civilian clothes, revealing a Kryptonian ceremonial attire instead of his usual Superman suit. Kal-El believes it's time to end his masquerade as Superman and assume his role as the last son of Krypton. Kal-El goes to the rooftop where Draaga and Cramden crash landed their ship. Draaga accuses him of stealing his death right, so he challenges him to a rematch to the death. Kal-El accepts, striking the first blow. They take the fight to Liberty Island, and the media doesn't take long to follow and live stream the battle. Draaga recognizes his opponent is different from their last match, not only in appearance, but in attitude and level of power. He is ready to accept his fate, even if he has to die on his hands. Emil Hamilton watches the live broadcast and decides to use his technology to teleport them. It says teleport them. Well, he wanted to teleport them to Metropolis, but there's a big mix-up, and he teleports them to the moon and avoid further collateral damage. He waits till he gets a good picture of them on top of the Statue of Liberty and activates the teleporter, but an error in calculation sends half the statue with them. Kal-El beats Draaga and is ready to strike the killing blow while a NASA spaceship transmits the fight to the world.
That escalated quickly.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, and the spaceship Excalibur kids with commanded by is he Captain or Hank Henshaw.
Oh yes. We'll see more of soon enough.
They're going to get bombarded by radiation by the time they come back. All four of them.
Yeah. And you could say it will be a fantastic adventure.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So what you think, Justin?
I love this issue. I love the artwork in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jerry Ordway is so great, but I think that he really knocks it out of the park in this whole Krypton Man story.
Oh, yeah.
Because that Kryptonian suit is difficult to make look well.
Yeah, because it's weird because it's not like symmetrical. Like there's that weird uneven yellow stripe down the one side, and yeah, it's got those big puffy things on the arms and shoulders.
Yeah, it's got the weird stuff on the arms, and just the design of it is very unique, and it's I can see how it would be challenging for a lot of artists to get to look accurate. But Jerry Ordway does it, and he makes it look effortless. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the other teams make it look good too, because that's one of those suits where it's like, yeah, one artist might be able to make it look good, but the next artist might, drop the ball or something. But I'd say that most of the artists on the Superman books pretty much nailed it.
Yeah. As far as art teams go, like this is one of my favorite eras.
Oh yeah,
of the Superman books. You've got George Perez and Kerry Gamble and Jerry Ordway. You've got Dan Jurgens and Art Thibert. Mm-hmm. It's just so good all over the place.
Oh yeah.
And I reading this again, I can't help but feel so bad for Draaga. Like
I know
he travels all that way. Like he spends all this time getting to the planet to settle this score with Superman. And when he finally finds him, he finds that it's a much different Superman than he encountered before, who is completely willing and able to not only duel him like he's requesting, but take the kid gloves off and just wreck his ass.
Yeah. Well, and again, too, I mean, no matter what, I mean, physically, Superman's a lot stronger, because, again, when he fought Draaga hand-to-hand and beat him last time, his powers were at the low level. Now he's fully charged, so.
He was fully charged, and he has, like, the kind of the logic of just, he knows where to strike. Mm-hmm. He knows what weaknesses to exploit. He's not concerned with a fair fight with Draaga.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's about logic. It's about who's going to win. It doesn't matter if they're fighting fair or
not. I know. I love when they come out of the river in New York, and Superman just, whips them over.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's so great. And then I also loved that we see Emil Hamilton again. Mm-hmm. Professor Hamilton. He's watching. This part made me laugh out loud, too, when I was reading it earlier. He's watching the broadcast on the news, and he says, "You doofus! That guy in black is Superman, and something is very wrong with him." And he says, his attitude's been so cavalier. He's been so bloody full of himself. Well, it's time Emil Hamilton stepped in, and he marches right over and gets his equipment out. It is so funny. Whenever Professor Hamilton just kind of rolls up his sleeves and is like, "Oh, well, it's time for Professor Hamilton to step in," I always laugh. I'm like, only you would do that.
Well, I love it. I'm like, who talks like this to themselves? Because he's
first
he's talking about teleporting to himself to New York, and he's like, "Oh, but I'm afraid to get too close to the fracas." He's like, "I am an elderly gent. Too much excitement for me."
Yeah. Oh, it is so funny. Yeah, he is great. I love Professor Hamilton.
Right, so Joe, and he's going to start to appear more and more as the 90s roll on.
Yep. Panic in the Sky. He's in there. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
And again, that's one of the God, that'll probably be 2 episodes, but Funeral for a Friend, the rest of, like you were talking about, with what they should have did with Action Comics Weekly, that's kind of what Funeral for a Friend does. You kind of get to spotlight everyone else in Metropolis with Superman out of the way.
Yeah. I really liked that. I liked that a lot.
I think that was was that 7 or 8 parts? I mean, that was 2 months without Superman. Yeah. So,
it went on for a bit, yeah. It was good. It gave us time to miss Superman. Mm-hmm. Which was I felt like it was the whole point of it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But it's but yeah, the synopsis also didn't mention Jose Delgado's not having a good time.
Yes, that's true too.
Getting evicted. Oh, but we also see Clark Kent's getting evicted.
Yeah, all kinds of drama. We got some stuff with.
Guess it's not logical to pay rent or any. Well, it's not the rent. It's they're like, oh yeah, lots of bad stuff happens. Like, remember that private investigator that got vaporized in your
Yeah, and the bombs that have been going off in your apartment every other week. Yeah, you're out of here. Yeah, one explosion too much for the least. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some more stuff with Morgan Edge.
Yes, because Mannheim wants to do some kind of weapons deal or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Quark, and he's like, "You idiot!" He's like, "And her gang has to play dead." He's like, "I'm going to trial, trying to tell him Brainiac was, mind wiping me. Come on."
Yeah.
He's like, "It worked for." I love him. He's always like, "It worked for Lex Luthor." Oh my God! Can you imagine? I mean, just the like way the justice system works in the real world, but then you add in, oh yeah, my alien. People are saying, hey, aliens were brainwashing me, or
Yes, it was psionic mind control the whole time. It wasn't really me.
Or that hot redhead who crashed down last week. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
She made me her love slave. Yeah, made
that's
me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was under her psionic control the whole time.
Don't tell me she wasn't dangerous. She was knocking Superman around. She wanted to knock boots, but she just knocked him around.
Yeah. She was just content to knock his head off the pavement instead of the headboard.
Mm.
Yeah, then we see some more Cat Grant and her kid. I don't think we'd seen them for a hot minute, right? It's been a little bit.
I think a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the other thing, because after Morgan Edge tells Mannheim to calm down, and he's like, tells one of the lackeys, like, we're going to reopen the file on Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Cat Grant, so.
Yeah.
That's always so funny, too, because it's like, just, they don't know Clark's Superman, so yeah, just keep poking the bear.
Yeah. See what happens.
Mm. Oh my God, I still want to see that, there's a meme floating around for a while. They're like, yeah, the movie we need is like, for some reason, I don't know whether he's uncovering a story, but the CIA just keeps trying to kill Clark Kent, and they can't figure out why he won't die.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Or they keep trying to, at the very least, like tranquilize him and black bag him and bring him in so that they can like question him, interrogate him about Superman, but they can never manage to do it.
Oh, but yeah, this is so funny because that Cramden's like, he's trying to break up the fight because he's like, Draaga ain't gonna be able to pay me if he's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love he tries to get in Superman's way, and he's just like
swats him out. Yeah.
Superman's like, convince him of the folly of all this, or administer him his death rights.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's not messing around.
Mm-hmm. Then they get teleported to the moon, and they're fighting on the moon, all a la Superman 4.
Yeah,
I know that's it. Oh God, some of these panels live in my head this whole time. Just fighting in front of half a Statue of Liberty on the moon.
I know, I love that. It's so random, but so perfectly Superman at the same time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Should we get to the next one?
Yes, the conclusion of our duel.
Oh yeah,
death duel.
Yep. All right, kids. So next we're gonna jump over to Adventures of Superman 465, and again some more good art.
Excellent.
Oh man, I miss those days. Look, so they forgot to erase that one. They erased the Action Comics cover, but still only 75 cents.
Yes.
God.
Oh, I love it. Those were the days.
Get this quality storytelling for 75 cents.
Yeah. So good.
Ugh. All right. So, Adventures of Superman 465, April 1990. Wait, no. I went back a little too far. All right. Yeah, Adventures of Superman 465, April 1990. The Last Son of Krypton. Writer and penciler Dan Jurgens. Inker Art Thibert, colorist Glenn Whitmore, letterer Albert de Guzman, and editor Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. And I really like the art on this one, just the pencils of Dan Jurgens with Art Thibert's inks. Yeah,
it's such a good pairing. They really did some magic together for the Superman issues.
The world eagerly watches as Superman is about to finish Draaga on the moon. Emil Hamilton reverses the teleportation device he used previously and brings Kal-El just before it could strike the killing blow. He picks up a big chunk of the moon and he teleports him. Drives into Draaga. Meanwhile, just goes through like Professor Hamilton's roof or something.
Yeah, just leaves it there. No big deal.
I'm like, hey, there's a big chunk of moon rock for you.
Yeah, there you go. You can do something with that, right?
Now free from danger, Cramden takes Draaga to his ship and takes off from the moon. After the commotion is over, the crew of the Space Shuttle Excalibur continue with its work, but the impact of a solar flare forces them to abort the mission. It's coming, kids.
Yeah.
Hamilton questions Superman about what's going on with him, and he reminds him about how traumatized he was the last time he intentionally killed the Phantom Zone criminals. Remember that Pocket Universe, kids?
Mm-hmm.
But Kal-El dismisses it as a minor event in his past. Hamilton notices Superman is more detached than ever. Clark's life continues to fall apart. First, he gets fired from Newstime magazine for being too cold-hearted with his employees. Boy, and that's coming from the devil. Can you imagine? One of the two devils in this universe that are just like, yeah, you're a little too rough on the employee. That's why I'm like, did they know Colin Thornton, or they were going to do this with Colin Thornton at this point, or were they just like, did they come up later?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm like, that's just so funny. It's like, yeah, one of the devils is just like, no, you're a little too rough on the help, kid. It should have been like, no, it's bad for the bottom line. I'm like, okay, if there was money involved, I can see that. But Hamilton notices Superman is more detached than ever. Oh yeah, Clark gets fired. His apartment, he gets evicted from his apartment because Clark's presence seemed to attract too many dangerous events. His parents call asking what's going on with him lately, and Clark coldly replies that they are not his real parents. He says everything will be in perfect order soon, and decides that he won't live two lives any longer. From now on, he is only Kal-El. Right after the call, Martha and Jonathan decide to go to Metropolis and visit their son. Gangbuster intercepts a bank robbery, and just when he's about to apprehend the burglars, Kal-El intervenes, almost killing the criminals. Gangbuster complains about why he is always interfering when he has things under control, claiming they don't need Superman. Kal-El replies he doesn't need him either. Kal realizes he has to abandon Earth's concerns and focus on his Kryptonian matters. Leaving his human life behind, Kal-El flies to the fortress in Antarctica and activates the Eradicator device.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I guess the Eradicator could have put stuff in his head, but I'm like, it needed to be turned on. I thought it was already on.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it was another level of stuff.
It just put some kind of programming in his head, and eventually, once it came fully on, it was just like, yeah, first thing, come in, turn me on. Hey, isn't that what Maxima
said? I'm sensing a theme here. Yeah.
I'll take people and objects that want to be turned on by Superman, please. But yeah, this art I love this art.
Yeah, me too. What a great pairing those two are. I wonder, I can't remember, did they work together again besides the Superman stuff on like Booster Gold or something else? I can't remember.
I can't remember all of that first Booster Gold series, but I think they worked here for a while.
Yeah, it's such a great team. Yeah, and it was great to see Gangbuster in action again, because I think this was the first time he had come back since he was injured.
I think so, because remember he was
after Exile.
He was wearing that Lex suit for a little bit, but
yes,
he got hurt again. Now he's just wearing the regular Gangbuster suit again.
Yeah, I did miss seeing, because I actually was one of the few people that liked the second Gangbuster, the Lex suit. I liked that.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. I thought it was a cool look for him. So I kind of missed that, but it was cool to see him back in action again in his original costume, doing what he does. And it was cool that he called Superman out on his...
Oh, yeah.
Just how... Because he blew up that car and like he was completely brutal and over the top. And then Superman Clark, he's like, and I most certainly do not need you. And another thing I noticed too that was shown a lot in this issue that showed what a glaring difference this Superman is the way that he's flying around.
Yeah, like he's standing up. Yeah,
like he's just kind of standing up, like contemplating with his hands behind his back and stuff. it's so different. It's a subtle little thing that I don't think I really noticed it as much when I read it the first time when I was younger.
Oh, that always hit me from the first time I read this. I'm just like, yeah, you could tell because he's just flying around, standing up and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just like so all cool. This, like all the like visual things like that in this issue, like Dan Jurgens does, and then like as Clark's telling his parents, he's not Clark Kent or Superman anymore. He's like pulling the glasses off his face as he's saying, Clark Kent and Superman will soon cease to exist. There will only be Kal-El. That's the panel where he's pulling them glasses off.
Yeah, shedding the last of his guys. As Clark Kent, yeah.
But yeah, I love when he gangbusters yelling at him and then he takes off and says, "Well, I don't need you guys either." And I love Gangbuster. Maybe I did come on a little strong.
Well, I don't know. I think he was justified in what he said. Yeah,
and then it's only 3 panels, but when like Jonathan and Martha are about to get on the plane and they're like, "Lonnie, you want to come with us?" She's like, "No." She's like, Clark, I've been injured and all this. And she's just like, he only wants me when he's in, he only needs me or wants me when he's in trouble. She's like, I ain't coming. And, if you don't want me in the good times, I ain't showing up for the bad times.
Well, also like their last interaction wasn't good, right?
Oh yeah. Cause he was under the influence of the Eradicator. Yeah. Cause remember.
Yeah. And he was like all cold and nasty to her. And like, yeah, she's been through enough. Like she's tired. She's been through enough. So I totally understand.
Between Lex's boys roughing her up, and then the whole battle with Matrix, she got
Matrix.
God, the whole Manhunter thing.
Manhunter, that was bad enough. Like, I'm still peeved about that, but
I know.
Yeah, but a lot of suffered enough. I can totally understand her reasoning for not wanting to take part in this adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, I mean, what's she going to do? Except if you go in and just like beg and plead with them or just like express her love for him. Or like, besides that, there ain't much she can do. Right.
And these are the days before we had a massive laundry list of supporting cast characters that John and Martha Kent could call up and be like, Superman's acting weird. Can you help us look in on him up in the North Pole? Up next to Santa Town.
I think it's downtown. I think it's the South Pole.
Is it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But, they could have, a couple of years from now, they could have called up John Irons. They could have called up Connor. They could have called up, Supergirl. They could have called up like half a dozen people. And they're like, could you come with us? Just to make sure that, in the event that he's not well, like you can kind of do something about it.
Oh yeah, there was one not too long ago. It was a few years ago. His son's book when they made his son John like another Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's when I think it was during the Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff in Action Comics. Like Superman was off world for a few months there, but But yeah, there was some threat, and they were just like, I think Batman shows up and he's like, yeah, one of the like sites that the Justice League keeps its eye on is the Kent farm.
That's
so
right.
Superman's not around. Something happens. Yeah, there's gonna be a team of Justice Leaguers.
That's right. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, something happens and like a couple of, I think it's the Flash or Wonder Woman or somebody shows up.
But I do like that where they're, even Batman's just like, yeah, I know the Kent farm is one of the places we keep under surveillance in case something goes down.
Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes total sense.
And that's so funny when they're flying to Metropolis, then he's just flying to the South Pole. Like his missile. Like they probably came with like 100 feet of them or something.
Yeah. That's so funny.
But yeah, that last page reactivates the Eradicator.
So good, right? Yeah. Oh man, that's tremendous. Yeah, the whole the art in this entire issue is great.
Yeah,
from beginning to end.
All right, should we get to the last one?
Yes, the conclusion.
All right.
And one of the best covers. Look at that.
Look at that with the Eradicator.
Oh, man. That's perfection.
Oh, yeah, because that's another George Perez, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Can't go wrong. All right. Pull this up here. So Yep. All right. Action Comics 652 from April 1990. Wayward Son. Writer Roger Stern. Yeah, I think it's the same as last time. Yeah, penciler George Perez and Kerry Gamble. Brett Breeding inker. Glenn Whitmore colorist. Letterer Bill Oakley. And editors Mike Carlin and Jonathan Peterson. Jonathan and Martha Kent arrive at Metropolis to visit their son. When they get to Clark's apartment, they find him and some Kryptonian robots packing his stuff to move them to the Fortress of Solitude in Antarctica. They question why he's been acting so indifferent lately, to which Kal-El replies that he is no longer Clark Kent or Superman, being free at last to assume his Kryptonian responsibilities. Jonathan asks why he packs some old photos of his parents and Lana Lang if earthly matters are no longer of his concern, and Kal-El is surprised by that question. Kal-El responds that they need to accept the new path he's taking, and Jonathan asks him to give them a good reason why. Kal-El commands the Kryptonian robots to take the Kents to the fortress. Inside the fortress, Kal-El uses the Eradicator to show them images of Krypton's past, going through the first race of barbarians to its seventh age, the period of scientific advances in a society purged of emotional weakness. He is determined to continue expanding the Kryptonian culture. Martha argues that Jor-El sent him to a world full of irrational beings because they loved him and Krypton was doomed. Kal attempts to respond to that last argument, but he's interrupted by an attack of the Kryptonian war suit functioning automatically. The sudden danger prompts Kal to command the other robots to protect the Kents while he battles the automated war suit. But they start strangling them. Kal destroys the robots and saves the Kents. Kal starts showing concerns about his human parents again, and he realizes that the Eradicator has been controlling him all this time. Kal confronts the artifact and resists its control. While the fortress starts crumbling down, Kal realizes the Kryptonian clothes he's been wearing were a conduit that allowed the Eradicator to control him, so he rips the suit apart. Because, yeah, I mean, you think about it, that the Eradicator made him that suit while he was still out in space before he even came back from exile.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Has it been slowly exerting influence since then, I guess?
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes total sense to me.
Jonathan exposes the Eradicator device to some kryptonite, disrupting the programming in Kal's mind. Using his heat vision, Kal destroys the Eradicator once for all. Sure, Jan. With the fortress in ruins, the Kents reunite with their son, and they give him a Superman suit they packed and brought for him. Superman puts on his old suit again and takes off to throw the Kryptonian clothes and the Eradicator into the sun. Superman returns to Earth, determined to live his way, free from Krypton's destiny. Yes, the Eradicator goes in the sun, and we never see him again.
Well,
I mean, it's
for another year.
And that suit's going to make a comeback too.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So, what you think?
I love this. I thought this was a great conclusion. I thought this had an epic feel to it, but it wasn't too grand in scope. Like there wasn't any world-ending threat or anything.
It's just him and the Kents, yeah.
Yeah, it's a personal crisis, which I think was important. It wasn't him trying to save the planet or save the Metropolis or save Lois or, even save the Fortress of Solitude. It was him trying to just save his parents and save himself. That's really what it was. He was trying to save who his very identity of who he was as a person. Like, never mind Superman, never mind even Clark Kent or Kal-El. Like, beyond all that stuff, beyond all the names and all the guises and nicknames, like, who is he as a person? Well, he's somebody who, when he sees his adoptive parents being manhandled by a bunch of robots, like, he immediately flies in to protect them and keep them safe. Like, that overrides everything else. Exactly. So in that moment, we see who the real person is, and he is shown himself by his actions who he is.
And I love how they bring him around that way, because modern comics, this issue would have been like a couple issues. Modern comics, because again, it'd be like, first the Justice League has to slap him around, try to slap him around, and then
yeah.
And I love here, it's just the parents bringing him around, and like, that's smarter play. I mean, Jonathan Kent grabs the kryptonite and like points it at the Eradicator. He's like, well, if that's Kryptonian too, that should have messed it up too.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it that it was just the Kents and Clark in this. It wasn't muddled up with a bunch of extra superpowered characters. I think that would have changed the dynamic of this whole issue so much, and I think it would have ruined it. And that whole climactic scene, which was so perfect, when Clark goes into that chamber and the Eradicator's talking all this stuff, divest yourself of things emotional, accept the world of Krypton, accept. And Clark says, no, Krypton is dead, and he stomps his feet. I love that. I mean, that's absolutely perfect. And he's recognizing the fact that so many people have tampered with his mind.
I know. That's what I was going to say. I love that. Yeah, they were just reminding us how many people have tried to control him just since the John Byrne thing. Yeah, Darkseid and Amazing Grace, Sleaze, Brainiac, and Maxima.
Sleaze. Yeah, I almost forgot about Sleaze. Yeah, so a lot of people have messed with him in the last few years. And I'm certain that he recognizes at this point it's taken its toll on him.
And I'm sure you loved when he had to rip his way out of that suit.
Oh, yeah. You
better the top half of that suit off, yeah.
You better believe it.
But I love that research station, like, hundreds of miles away. They're picking up, like, seismic activity when the Eradicator going at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, this is good pace. Like I said, Modern Comics, we would have, this probably would have been this whole Krypton Man thing would have been a whole year, but
absolutely,
I think we did it in 2 months?
Yeah. What was it? Six issues? Yeah.
4
There's a bit of a lead up to it. Like they had some issues that.
Yeah, like in some of the previous issues, like they showed like he was kind of a little maybe snippy at moments, but yeah.
There was a subtle lead up to this, but it was really well done. It was really well done. It didn't feel like anything was dragged out, or it didn't feel like there was anything that was added in just for the sake of it. Like the Lobo appearance even kind of made sense. Like, and for that to be said at this point in time is something of itself.
I know. Well, also too, I think the picks of Lobo and Maxima were, very intentional by the writers, because it's like these two beings like are fueled by, passion or, just very emotional beings. And, as Superman's losing his emotions, again, those fights would have been, I think, way different if he had more
different
influence. Yeah.
Yeah. Draaga, Maxima.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those would have been much different outcomes.
Oh yeah. Draaga too.
Yeah.
Draaga will be back, kids. I'm sure he didn't wake up.
Oh yes. Actually, don't we see Draaga and Maxima return at the same time?
Oh, Panic in the Sky?
I think it is.
Yeah. Also, I believe we also get the return of Matrix in that one.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one, kid.
That's a big one.
And I love stars. And
I love Panic in the Sky. That's one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if Maxima came back before that, but I don't think.
I think this is that's the next time we see her. But I'll definitely be back for all of that. That's one of my absolute favorites.
Oh yeah. God, we should try to get as many people as we can. We'll try to get Lilith in here.
Yeah.
Will, or some Green Lanterns in there.
Will, and
again, there's a ton of guest stars. Yeah,
get Ray in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. But Panic in the Sky, we could do like a Panic in the Sky mega episode and just cover the whole thing.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember.
2-hour episode.
I'm going to look at the schedule. I think I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't like around like a anniversary episode, because I was like, man, that would have been a good anniversary episode.
Oh,
like a bit, like a 50 or 100 or something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah. True.
Because again, you could do that big time.
Yeah, I love the idea of getting some more people in. Talk about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we're about December 2025. I broke it up. So yeah, part 1 is going to be December 2025.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So next year.
Oh, Lilith will be here. Part 1 of Panic in the Sky will be episode 69.
Electric Mullet number 69. Perfect. There we go.
Probably have to record that ahead of time because she likes to take her Decembers off, but
we can do it.
Yeah.
We can do that. Yeah. Nice.
All right, Justin. Yeah, we got any other thoughts on this?
Not really. No, I really enjoyed going over the Krypton Man story again. It was fun discussing it with you and with Tyler and revisiting this great story. This was kind of in the days too. I was thinking too, Phil, before we saw a lot of the quote unquote dark Superman. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That later got turned into such a cliche. Like,
yeah,
this is kind of the beginning of all that stuff that was later expounded upon and endlessly recycled
stuff.
Yeah. Just the whole dark kind of not evil Superman, but just the more harder edged, less fun and warm and cuddly Superman. Exactly. This was the beginning of all that stuff. So it was nice to see that inception and just done by a masterful team of writers and artists. So yeah.
All right. Well, next month we'll be back to 2 episodes. Next time, Tyler and I will cover Superman 43 and Adventures of Superman 466, again featuring like the first full appearance of Hank Henshaw and that shuttle crew. And then the second episode, Justin should be back because I will be back for that one. Adventures of Superman Annual 2 and Legion Annual 1.
Yes. Some more John Byrne stuff.
Oh, yeah. And we shouldn't be affected. We won't be affected next month, but eventually DC Infinite, get on your game. I mean, I have the issues. I don't know about Tyler, but looks like we're getting another like hole or two in the, this time it's going to be around for Action Comics. I'm like, what?
No kidding.
Why? You have everything else.
I have most of those, I think.
Again, there was like a 4 or 5 issue gap for Adventures leading up to Exile. And now it looks like there's going to be a gap for like Action. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, do they leave out like a whole story, like Soul Search or something?
No, it's not. Well, again, since they jump from book to book, it's like, I have to look, but I think the first thing it might affect is like maybe Dark Knight over Metropolis, and I'm just like the Batman story. I'm like, how did they leave that? And the action issue is the last part of that. I'm like, how do you leave that out?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's so strange. You would think that they would have all of the Superman stuff, all of the Batman stuff, and all the Wonder Woman stuff. Like, cover those 3 bases and then deal with everything else.
Yeah. I mean, I've had this discussion with many people, but I'm just like, yeah, the 90s seems to be like the big, for Marvel and DC, like the big hole. Because again, it seems like a lot of the older stuff they have, a lot of the more current stuff, the 90s seem to be that hole where they just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just like, can they not get like a good, like, clean copy to scan in or something? Or
I don't know, maybe. And it's even for lesser known characters like the Demon. Like, you can find all of the Demon, well, practically all of the Demon stuff, the stuff from the 70s, almost all that's on there. A lot of the 80s stuff you can find on there. But if you try to find that 90s series that Alan Grant wrote, which actually went on for the longest amount of issues out of any Demon series that's ever been published, now or since, I don't think any of it's on there.
I mean, I guess it would be
bonkers.
I guess it would be a logistical nightmare, but how about putting out the word, if you don't have a copy, be like, hey, can anyone let us borrow the copy to scan in? We'll give you a month or 2 free on DC or something, Yeah,
we'll give you some type of credit. Yeah, it's weird. I don't
cool prizes.
There must be some reason for it that we don't know about.
Yeah, because that always boggles me, because it's like you'll have the issues before and then the issues after, but there's like a hole in the middle there. I'm like,
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, kids, send us your thoughts on, the upcoming episodes for February. And then, like I said, Dark Knight over Metropolis is in March, so.
And you said Lilith is coming for that one? She's going to be with us?
Ask her yet? I don't know. I said I want her to be here. We could try. Why do you want it? Do you want in on that? I can't remember.
Well, I was going to try to if I had time.
Yeah.
That month.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get Lilith.
Because that's just one episode, right? That's three issues?
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be able to make that one.
Yeah, because I don't know what day we're recording yet, but I'm sure Ray will be busy that day. So. Come on, Ray. You can make that happen. Come on.
Man, my favorite character.
Starting you off right. All right, kids. So yes, send us your thoughts. Email CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Get your new Capes Lunatics, the classic Capes Lunatics merch. And again, stronger, deadlier than Maxima, Lilith Hellfire demands that you rain random money on us to the Cash App link. So just rain random money on us so we don't
make it rain.
So we don't have to dance on that pole for I don't know, Draaga. I don't know.
She looks like she was just working a stripper pole down at Divas.
Although I was afraid there that Superman was going to be working the pole on Maxima's palace. I don't know.
Now that I want to see. He was just working a
yeah, we know you want to see him work that pole. Anyway, yes, and of course, kids, the Patreon where every month Lilith and I give you exclusive, uncensored content. And again, if you're a patron like our friend Justin here, you can suggest topics for discussion.
That's right. Join me in the Patreon elite.
Don't make us shame you into doing it like we did Ray. So hands off that deck, Ray. All right. So subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/CapesandLunatics for the Patreon, and find everything at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right. Now, Justin the Owl. Again, you can catch him here occasionally on Electric Mullet. You can catch him at least once a month on We Are the Night.
The Batman Podcast.
Batman Podcast, talking all things Azrael, and every once in a while he'll stop by for a Catwoman, or if we discuss Killer Moth.
Moth, or Anarchy.
Anarchy, yeah.
You never know.
And again, you can catch them on Capes and Lunatics with me every week, either on Marvel Tales, X-Men Classics, or sometimes both.
Sometimes both.
Yes, talking all the Marvel stuff. And again, you never know when we're going to sneak in an extra Energon Universe or One World Under Doom.
Yes, I have a feeling Energon Universe will be coming back in 2025. Maybe not regularly, but we'll have a few episodes.
Mm-hmm. And he's also joining me and Ray monthly now for Scarlet Spider, or that's
right.
That last Ultimate Spider cast of the month.
On a regular basis. We're covering the Scarlet Spider, and after that, who knows?
That's right. But that's not all the podcasting this gentleman does. So, Justin, tell them where the hell they can find you on these shows.
Every month, you can also find me over at Gamma Charge with Russell, where we discuss either the Immortal Hulk series or the Sensational She-Hulk series. And we also have a Patreon page for certain paying tiered members. We have a series right now on one of DC's versions of the Incredible Hulk called Damage, and that has been super fun. Also, on Predator and Prey, we are joined by the aforementioned High Priest of Khonshu, Ray, and Sparky to discuss some classic Predator comics from Dark Horse. And over on the Lost Library of Legends, I have just started a multiple-part retrospective on a Malibu Ultraverse title from the early 90s. We're going back to the 90s here,
bitch. Barbarian Superman.
That's right. Boo, long-head Superman. Boo.
Oh my God, I saw a post someone was talking to Ron Friends about because he posted some Superman artwork about the mullet, and Ron Friends said it really wasn't a mullet, so it wasn't like business in the front, and then
right.
The guy he was talking to was just like, I think the curl was the business.
The curl was the business.
Yes, curl was the business, yes.
Totally.
Like, I'm sorry, Rob, but don't fight it. Oh my.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh man. Earn her a million drops. I was gonna say I have a drop of love party in the front and the back, but where's it at?
Oh yeah. You gotta look on page 3 or 4.
Still only 2. I've slowed down on pulling drops, but I expect to get back. I expect to be back in business when I get a certain drunken video.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a delay with that because my normal comic book store hasn't been doing their sale that they do every year.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, this might work for Mullet.
Coming out of the bush?
When Maxima's watching Gladiator Superman on the...
Oh man, there's so many drops I could have played tonight. Oh, there's Maxima.
Well, that sure was close. I didn't get manhandled.
Then he fought at least 2 opponents in like the river this week.
Good and wet.
Come back, Lilith.
Yes, we need her on Electric Mullet at some point.
Yes.
If not for the Batman episode, then for episode 69.
Exactly. All right. Thank you for joining us. Again, next time, what is it? Superman 43, I think. And Adventures of Superman 466. The very first appearance of Hank Henshaw.
That's right. It'll be
Although
a fantastic time.
His first full appearance. I think he might have appeared in a panel in this, didn't he? When they showed the shuttle crew. He might have.
Yeah.
It's always weird. It's like, oh, was Hulk 180 or 181 Wolverine's first appearance?
Right.
On the last page. All right, kids. Remember, logic gets you nowhere. Go with that animal lust, kids. All right. Come back next time. And remember to join us for truth, justice, and the mullet way.